So, I'm going to give a go here and we're going to look at chapter 2, China. And I'm going to take this evening, afternoon, whenever you're watching this, to talk about Confucius and Confucianism. Um, Chapter 2 talks a lot about, as you remember my CCOT, the centralization of power. Well, when you go back to the Zhou dynasty and you look at the waning years, 800, 500s, BCE, you will see that its feudal system was falling apart. When you give too much power to your feudal lords and their laws are going to be different, they have different standing armies, and they start realizing they don't need a central government and they actually just need each other, maybe. That's when you really see a lot of states emerge in the Zhou dynasty, leading to the era of warring states. And this is what I want you to start thinking about internal instability. Confucius was born in 551 and lived to 479 BCE, thus right before the era of warring states, right before where there's no centralized government. So he sees all of this. Now I'm going to do more biography about Confucius in class because it's kind of cool stuff. And we're going to look at a lot of the analects and like quotes of his, but in class. For now, I want to talk about the ism itself. We'll be looking at Confucianism and Taoism, Hinduism and Buddhism in chapter 2, chapter 3. So what is Confucianism? Well, first of all, Confucianism is a philosophy. It is not religion. So there's this guy, his name was Confucius. Real guy, it's historical evidence, it's proof. Okay, he's a real guy, he walked the earth. His goal was to become an advisor to one of these regional lords. And he kind of failed in doing that. Now, the reason why he wanted to be an advisor is because he thought he had it going on up here. Even though he was poor when he was born and all that, he thought he had earned some keep and wanted to share his knowledge. He did have disciples, he had followers. So when he dies, he knew people knew about him and his thoughts, but he never got the job he wanted, and he definitely did not die thinking he created Confucianism. That would be pretty fat, actually, if you knew you died creating an ism. But his teachings are left behind, and people like a follower named Mencius kind of add on to it and emphasize it and write more about it. I will say that Confucius is a dude who didn't even think he was smart enough to talk about religion. So he doesn't think that there is no God or no heaven or something like that. He just doesn't want to address it. That's not what he cares about. What he cares about is coming up with a process or a way to create a stable society in China, and something we can still use around the world today. So there is no afterlife, there is no deities. Do not ever call Confucianism a religion. Period. So what is Confucianism? Well, let's take a look on some of its major tenets. First of all, it believes in a stable society. It does believe that we should all yearn to be superior individuals or superior men, to be honest. He calls this Junzi, Junzi. Junzi are superior men in intellect, in ability, in even effort to a degree. And you can get to that by yourself. He has a lot of good quotes, such as noble deeds, not noble birth, bestow honor a man. Meaning it doesn't matter what level of society you're born, you can earn it. You can earn a step up. He also believes in education. There are no class distinctions, meaning if you all go to school, go become learned, it doesn't matter where you started, it's the great leveler. And in fact, public education in many ways in the United States is a great leveler. Ideally, of course. So he believes in Junshi, go improve oneself. And if you're not trying to improve yourself, you're kind of a schmo. for a lack of more cerebral word. One quote he has, it's only the very wisest and the very stupidest who cannot change. So it's the people who think they know everything, and it's the people who think they cannot learn. These are the people he has fault with. So you should always be striving for self-improvement. Junshi. What else does he believe in? He does, now this kind of sounds bad, I got to admit. He believes in the 5 relationships, or he talks about the 5 relationships. It sounds bad because it literally puts a superior person and an inferior on a piece of paper. This person is better than this person. And I know you think that sounds bad because a lot of us are taught that we're all equal. La 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 la. Well, remember, he's trying to create a stable society, and he wants people to know their station in life, their place, and embrace it and be the best at it. So, the 5 relationships, I'll just list them out for you. I forgot how the book refers to them. Here they are. You have ruler to subject, emperor to subject. You have husband to wife, it's a patriarchy. Father to son. We were talking about a society where it does believe to a degree of primogeniture, where the oldest son gets the land, gets the power, gets the strength. So you got the father to the oldest son or son. Then you have elder brother to younger brother, and this is a society where you have 5, 6, 7, 8 kids, maybe 9 kids, and a bunch of boys. So you got to lay down the law. The oldest boy is the best boy. And then there's one that's like sometimes referred to as older friend and younger friend, sometimes referred to as friend to friend. Let's just forget that one because it's just not fun to talk about. It doesn't prove my point. My point here is if you look at those, he believes that there is order and stability when you tell older men that they're in charge. Sorry, ladies. Sorry, kiddos. Shh. I'm not going to embellish too much, but you know me. If you look at America today, when more and more people are considered equal and more people put their 2 cents in, you could almost look at that as causing instability. Now in America, we like that instability. We like that freedom. That's why we have Fox News and we have CNN and we have MSNBC. We love the diversity of ideas and the diversity of beliefs. Yeah, but it could make a little bit of ugliness, a little bit of anarchy. Melissa might say something to the boys, and I might come into the room 2 minutes later not knowing she said something and totally say something else. And all of a sudden, the kids don't know who to listen to. Well, they're going to listen to the parent that they want to listen to at the time, who's being nicer or giving them gifts or money or food. So men are in charge of the household. He so believes in this that he extends it into the afterlife, and it's called filial piety. It's where you have reverence for those who have come before you in your family. It's you pass down the traditions and the sayings and what the achievements of your great grandparents, and you sit around, let's call it a bonfire, and you tell stories of the past. You venerate, you almost ancestor worship these people as idols. Filial piety is respect you give to your parents when you're in front of them and when you're not in front of them. Not even getting a grad ticket out of it. You know how to drop the grad ticket comment. Now, just because he creates a 5 relationship system where there's some people in better, there's some people that are worse, he does believe in Ren, spelled R-E-N. R-E-N. Ren is a benevolence that the people in power have towards the people that listen to him. It's a sense of humility and a sense of humanity. It's like, I am better than you, but in a paternalistic way, I'm going to take care of you. I will respect your life, but you also need to respect the fact that I'm in charge. It's kind of like a parent-child thing where the parents are going to be mean to you at sometimes, but they do love you. And some of the times their choices they make are for your benefit. They're never to harm you. And that's why we have that concept of the mandate of heaven. You stay in power as long as you earn that power. Now, mandate of heaven is not Confucian. It was pre-Confucian. Um, Another thing about Confucianism is the idea of li, L-I. That's like propriety. That is knowing your place where you're at. Um, and we will look at that, kids are to be seen but not heard at the dinner table in the 1950s. Um, it's a certain amount of women, we love you, we're going to take care of you, we're going to treasure you, but your position at this place right here isn't welcome. I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of years ago, not right now, sorry. That sounded bad. What else do I want to say? Five relationship, filial piety, Jun Shi, Ren, Li. What else? Wrote the his quotes are put into the Analects. This gives a lot of power to the rulers as long as the rulers make that, what's that contract, that social contract that you might have learned back in the Enlightenment era, where I will take care of you, you just abide by me. I like what the book does. It goes on to Confucian social system. If you believe in a society of benevolence where those in charge, those in power, should be taking care of others, um, then it's kind of cool because Confucianism really then believes that capitalism, merchants, do nothing but take advantage of one another for profit. And that is why, just hear me out, Confucianism, actually, if you want to look at a class system, you have the nobility and the educated, the scholar gentry, as they'll go on to be called. You have the peasantry. Then you have the merchant class. The merchants were looked down upon. Now, I know, take a big breath here. China looks down on capitalism, believes in social order and stability. It's really surprising that it's a communist state for 50, 60 years. Do understand I do not consider China communist by today's standards. Their internet may not be as free. Now, okay, I think I'm wrapping this up now. Now, the long-term effects of this are the Han Dynasty will eventually adopt Confucianism as their text, as their philosophy, and they do that partially because they create an examination system so they know who are the talented people. So those talented few, especially getting bigger and bigger as the Han did, could be put into power from wherever they are in the dynasty. So the Han created the examination system, which lasts, oh my goodness, 2,000 years, where there's different levels of examination, and your success on each level of examination gets you a bureaucratic job. So you work for the government only if you take the exams. Now, what are the exams based off? They're not based off of logic and reason and mathematics and social studies and science. No, they're based on your knowledge of Confucianism as a moral code, as a moral compass. So think about that. That sounds nice. That means you're going to have a lot of enlightened leaders. Yay! But they're going to be enlightened leaders that don't know how to balance a checkbook. They're going to be a bunch of enlightened leaders who don't necessarily know how to pragmatically lead. They know philosophy, but that doesn't always get the job done. So what I notice is in China, you're going to see a lot of stability, but that's because they don't promote change. They don't evolve. For thousands of years, they have the dynastic system, they have Confucianism, and it's all kind of entrenched. And that lags them behind. They invent gunpowder for fireworks, not to go kill people. That's what the Europeans do, yeah. Uh, I have often used the word stagnant, that Confucianism helps promote a stagnant society, not one based on of competition, creativity, and ingenuity, but one based off of sitting back on your laurels And I guess it gets worse. This examination system is actually what Confucius would never have wanted. He believed in education there are no class distinctions, and what they do is they create an examination system which creates class distinctions. It's exactly what public education does. You know, we have the AP, we have the honors, we have the academics, we have all these different levels, and they do create little de facto classes in why I'm missing. Confucius wanted you to go to your family and practice your roles in society, and then go in the community and be learned and be a junshi. But the examination system and some of this held it back. Women weren't even allowed to take the examination system. Peasants, how is a peasant going to take an exam? Now think about the process. I need to take some coffee here. How is a peasant going to take an exam? Hey, Dad, I don't want to shovel any longer. I want to go study. Okay. Oh, by the way, you're going to need to pay for a tutor. Okay. So after the son got his butt kicked, you'll realize that peasants didn't have the time or money to take the exams. And here's the time I get to use the word beget. The scholars, the people who pass the different levels of exams, the scholar gentry, we call them, the scholar gentry beget the scholar gentry. And all of a sudden, once again, you have a stagnant society with people born into power, which is so what Confucius didn't want. But he was dead. I think I'm pretty much done. Confucianism is a way of life. Why I'm missing is very Confucian. I don't put it down. Confucian works in a group setting because you have people in charge, the school board, Dr. Jones, Mr. Dramby, you. You know? Otherwise, there'd be anarchy, confusion, and delay. So we produce some talented people at why I'm missing. And there's a billion reasons why, but Confucianism helps produce that. But it also creates a society of classes, even though you can break through those classes ideally. But all right, I think I'm done. If I keep talking, I'm going to say something that probably get me fired. I'm going to see what I can do about editing this, but probably won't. So 17 minutes of fun. Take care.